All right, what's up, folks in YouTube land? Thanks for waiting. I've seen a couple people waiting in the chat room. I'm not monitoring chat yet, but I'm waiting for the Facebook version of our live show to go live. If you are joining us from... Uh-oh. I got to stop that.
You stopped the live stream on YouTube?
Did I?
Oh, I don't know. Did you? Is that what you were saying you had to stop? Or?
I got to turn it down is what I got to do. There we go. Okay. I was listening to it in my headphones.
Oh, gotcha. Let me see.
That was bad. All right, we're in the standby screen on Facebook, guys. Thanks for joining us from the Just Paranormal YouTube channel. If you, I already got a couple subscribers over from JP, so that's awesome. It's always good to promote and cross-promote. That's why I do this personally, and I'm sure JP feels the same. We got to support each other, so... just stand by. We're just going to hang out for a few. I got to share this link around a little bit on Facebook, and then we'll go into the Facebook intro. And sorry for the couple-minute wait, but we'll get into it right after that. But JP is monitoring the chat on YouTube, so if you want to say what's up to him, you can.
Just ate some pork chops.
Nice.
Now my stomach's in knots. I'm pretty sure it's working on a poop. So you know what I'm doing after the show.
Exactly. I've been there, man.
I can just do it during the show. I can just bring my laptop in the restroom.
Just wear a diaper, yeah.
Yeah, beauty of Wi-Fi. Cool. Beauty of Wi-Fi.
All right. Share everywhere. I did tag you in this post, so you should automatically get tagged on Facebook, JP.
Cool.
Let's see here. Share two more places, and we'll get into the intro. And timeline. We'll go ahead and tag you again for good measure. All right, we are now going into the intro on Facebook. Stand by. Somebody in the chat on Facebook said this couldn't be better timing than on a Rolex. I was like, it's an automatic live stream. It's scheduled, so. So let's see if I can ask your cues here. Nobody chatting yet. We're just there. When I looked on YouTube, there was 4 waiting, but I only see 1 watching now, and that's probably me or you.
On YouTube?
Yeah, no, we just got another one. So.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on YouTube as right now still. So. And I just reshared the post.
I do believe, let me look. It would be nice to have all kinds of people just doing everything, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Need a producer. It would be nice. And I want to start doing our podcast live, and I don't even know where to start. On YouTube, live on YouTube, but such a hassle. I got tired.
All right, I'm going to show your YouTube videos when it gets time to it in order that you sent them to me.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Perfect. Works for me.
Okay. Alrighty. We got about 20 seconds left in the intro, and we'll go right into it.
Cool. Sounds good.
Excuse the dead air on the YouTube end, guys. I'm just waiting here just about 5 more seconds. Hello, welcome to the Necromancer live show. I am your host, Justin Brown, and I have a brand new guest to interview and to present to you on this show this week. His name is JP Doyal of the Houston, Texas area. He is a paranormal researcher, just like I am, and that's all we pretty much interview on this show. And I try to get people from different facets of the paranormal when it comes to researching hauntings and life after death. But without too much jabber, we're going to bring JP onto the show, and we're going to see what JP's going on doing with his life. What's up, JP? How are you doing?
What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
No problem whatsoever. Thanks for coming on, and I'm going to start off the show just like the viewers are used to having me start off the show. I'm going to ask you, JP, I want you to get personal as possible. Give me the juicy stuff. Why is it that you investigate paranormal phenomena? Why do you do that?
To pick up chicks. I'm just kidding. Okay. No, we all know that if you want to pick up chicks, that's not the thing you want to do. So the reason why I got into it was because back in 2008, right before my mom passed away, we always had things happening in our home and whatnot, but the usual stuff, and we always watched shows together, and she would always tell me, you should get into that. That's really cool, interesting stuff. And I was 14, 15 at the time, so I was like, no, I'm good. I was scared. I was too scared. I was still at that age. I had trouble walking down a hallway that was dark, but I was like, no, I'm good. Well, in 2008, she passed away in July. And I was like, you know what? She always asked me to try this out. I said, if anybody's going to prove to me that there is something after this, it's going to be her, especially since she loved this stuff and she was so interested in it. So I saved up some Christmas money to buy a voice recorder, and I bought one. And right after her death, I set up a voice recorder next to her ashes that are actually at my grandparents' home still to this day. I set the voice recorder up next to her ashes, and I caught an EVP of her saying that she missed us. And more direct, she actually said the name of my uncle Chris that lived in the home at the time too, and she said, "Chris, we miss you." And by we, I think she meant my other uncle Junior that used to live in the room my uncle was staying in at the time. I know it's really confusing. Junior passed away 2 weeks before she did. So he passed away, and then she passed away 2 weeks later. And she said, "Chris, we miss you," on that voice recorder. And I still have, luckily, I thought I lost the recording, but I actually came across it on an old computer that my grandpa had at his house. And luckily it was still on there. So I have the recording. It's just one of those things. I usually am a very open person that shares everything, but I really don't want to share that because I know how the field can be, and I don't want to share it. And then people say, "Oh, it could have been this, it could have been that." Because it's too personal to be criticized. And I know that it can be criticized if I put it out there. It's a pretty clear EVP. It's not Class A, but it's definitely, you can make out what it's saying. It is kind of tough to hear. It's really whispery tone. It does. It kind of sounds like my mom, but I don't know. I just don't want it to be criticized, so I haven't put it out there, but I did find it recently.
That's very interesting. So your mother got you into the paranormal.
Yeah. And
so when she passed away, then that happened. So what did you feel like she was trying, knowing that you would probably be looking for signs from beyond the grave? Do you think that's why that happened for you?
Yeah, because the day after her funeral, she always told us she would come back and do something. She said, "I don't know what, depending on what I can do, I'll do something." So the day of her funeral, we were actually at my grandma's house after it finished. And you know how funerals are. Afterwards, everybody goes to a home and they eat and they kind of share memories and stuff. So we're all sitting there talking. And my grandma has a huge window. It's probably at least 4 foot long and probably 3 foot tall. It's just one single window in her living room. It's huge. And I'm sitting there to the windows to the left of me, and out of the corner of my eye, while I'm talking to people, I see something black, boom, hit the window really, really hard. And I was like, that had to be a bird flying into the window. There was nothing else that it could have been, or somebody threw something. So immediately everybody hears it. So we all run out of the house, and we go check the porch. And the porch is probably about 3 foot wide. It's not a very big porch, just enough to have a small swing set, a small, swing. And we're looking around, and we don't see anything black. The object had to be at least the size of a softball. It wasn't round like a softball, but it was at least the size of a softball. And it was just nowhere to be found, nowhere on the porch, nowhere on the grass. And my sister looked at me, and she was like, that was Mom. I don't know what happened. I don't know what that was, but I think that's a sign from her. And I was like, yeah, so I can't disagree. So I started thinking, what can I do? What can I do? And that's when I purchased that voice recorder. And, before I did it, I didn't have any experience in investigating, and I kind of just winged it. And I said, Mom, I'm going to leave this out here. On the TV shows, we used to see that they say, they ask questions and they respond on these. Can you just come say something? And that's when I got it. It said, Chris, we miss you. And I was like, okay, well, that must be her.
Wow, that is very cool. I don't think I've heard a story quite like that in a conversation I've had with somebody. Before going on, Marissa says hi, and she wanted to know if that gave you comfort. Obviously, I would say it would, but what was your exact feeling when you started receiving these signs?
Well, after hearing that voice that EVP, listening to the voice recorder, of course I was sad. I mean, this was literally 2 days after she passed, so it was really hard.
Right.
The night that we found this, here's another thing that happened, because there was a bunch of stuff that happened right in that small time frame. The night that it happened, I'm getting the chills talking about it. I walked into her room, and I kind of just looked at the room, and I didn't know that she passed away yet. My grandparents got called abruptly to the hospital. My sister and me knew why, but they didn't tell us that what had happened. They just said, we just got to go. We got to go. They left us at the house. They didn't want us to be there seeing her like that. Because she was on a life support because she had cancer. And so she finally passed. And I was like, I just, for some reason, I got up and I stood in her room and I was crying. And I looked in her room, and it was weird because, like, I heard the voice in my head, but it was like in my head, but I also kind of heard it like as if it was coming from behind me. I don't even know how to explain it. It was very strange. And I heard my mom say, take care of your sister. Because my sister Megan's been in jail. She's always in trouble with she used to always be in trouble with a lot of things. And I was kind of the more mature one, even though I was younger. And she told me to take care of your sister. And that was very comforting, to answer her question. That situation. Then when I caught the EVP, it's strange because you would think that would be comforting as well. But it kind of just made me feel like, okay, finally I know that there is something after this. And it kind of lit a fire under my butt more than anything. It made me want to start pursuing this. So it kind of sparked an interest that was kind of already there, but it just level 10 immediately. I went from being scared of walking down a hallway to being able to just go into an abandoned hospital and investigate,
Right. It kicked
it
it right
less
in the
scary.
ass.
Yeah, it made it less scary.
I can relate to that, JP. My dad passed away when he was 54 in 2011. And, I had, experiences, pretty profound ones growing up, younger. They might have been in my early 20s or mid 20s, but, honestly, they terrified me when it would happen. But after seeing, my dad dead and experiencing that type of loss, it does something to you.
Yeah.
And I believe that you can go down different paths from that point. And I think that me and you both went down a path saying, okay, we're all going to die. This is what it is. Before I get there, I want to know a little bit more about what to expect when it happens. Yeah. So it is
100%.
interesting.
That's exactly how I felt. It just made me, like you said, lit a fire under my ass and just, let's go, let's do this. So
awesome. That's a cool story. Let's talk a little bit about what you started doing when you decided, hey, this is what I'm going to do? What did you start doing to get into the paranormal field?
So I was really young when I started. If I remember correctly, I was about 15 going on 16. Yeah, because it was the month of junior high going to high school, and I failed a grade. So I was 15. And so it was really hard finding teams. And this was kind of like, at the time, it was, whenever Ghost Hunters first started their TV show, Paranormal Investigating was huge. There was teams everywhere. And then this was like kind of like teams were kind of dying out, so it was kind of hard to find a team. I would find teams online. I would call them and ask them if I could be a part of it. Most of them were like, oh, we don't even have a team anymore. So it made it really hard and challenging. I ran into somebody that used to have a team, and I spoke to them, and they were like, try this website called meetup.com. And this is where I tell everybody to start, because this is where I started. And it's just a website where people with hobbies can meet up together, different hobbies, from and paranormal investigating to swinging. It's just like a big difference, like different spectrum. But wow. I went more on the paranormal investigating side, and I found a group, and they met up at like Golden Corrals, and they just kind of hung out and talked. And they invited me out to Yorktown Memorial Hospital. It's an abandoned hospital close to San Antonio, Texas. And it was my first investigation. And I was kind of nervous because I didn't know what to expect. I looked up pictures online of the hospital. I was like, wow, this place is legit. So I show up there, and the core group that was putting on the public investigation, their name was Spire. And the lady that ran their group was Tammy. And she was really, really nice. And just during that night, we just kind of clicked. And she took me under her wing and made me part of their core group at the age of 15. So that was really cool. And the first investigation I ever investigated, I investigated with Britt Griffith from Ghost Hunters, actually. He was there as a special investigator or whatever. And, yeah, and I just fell in love with it. I loved it. And luckily, she took me under and made me a part of her team. And it just kind of went from there to what it is now.
That's cool, man. Yeah, a lot of people, find it awkward and maybe difficult to, if they are interested in getting into what we do, then, they have questions about how to start. And I think that's good advice, especially if you live in a big place like Houston, Texas. You're going to want to get on a forum or a website that allow you to connect with people, because it's even harder in small towns like where I live. I had to pretty much build my own paranormal community and, find people. I have people in 3 different states on my team, so wow, it's tough.
That is tough. Yeah, when people ask me, they want to be a part of the team, and they're like, can I come with you? Can I be a part of the team? The first thing I always tell them is try meetup.com. And if they do go try it, and they do go to a couple public investigations, and they're showing that they're actually truly interested and they're not just doing this for fun. I mean, it's fun, don't get me wrong, but, just doing it to just have an experience once or twice, then that's kind of how I weed people out and how I find people for my core team now to what it is today.
Talk about your core team a little bit. I've watched, several videos on your channel. Seems like you got some, friends that you've had around for a while. Is that right?
Yeah. So it started out as Just Paranormal started out as me, John Gonzalez, and Elzar Lucio. And Elzar Lucio has been my best friend since 6th grade, and John has been my friend since high school. And we just kind of all were interested. Elzar's more of the type of person that just kind of goes with the flow. I'm his best friend. I'm like, hey, you want to go do this? And he's kind of, yeah, let's do it. He's just not, he doesn't really care. He didn't truly have a passion, but he was interested. His dad's actually a preacher, and so he's a pretty big skeptic on a lot of these things. So it was cool having him with us to have a skeptic eye on things. Well, when time went on, he's doing school and stuff, so he kind of just drifted away from the team, doing his own thing. So it was me and John. I was like, well, we need to figure out something, because it's good to have a big team. It helps with a lot of things. And so we were looking. I added a guy named Zach. He was really young. He's 18, 19, and he seemed really interested. But then after a couple investigations, he kind of too seemed to be drifting away a little bit. He had some stuff come up in his life. So it was back to me and John again. And I was like, okay, we got to find some truly passionate people that love what they do. I got invited out to an investigation in Palestine, Texas by a guy named Shannon Autry. He had recently just left his team, and he was looking for a team, so I asked him to be a part of our team because he just showed a true passion for it. So I got him on our team. And then the next person is a lady named Karen Coster. She is our researcher, and wow, she is one hell of a researcher. When we go to these hospitals, Justin, she will literally print out a stack this big of death certificates for us. It is absolutely, she is like an amazing researcher. I've never met a researcher like her, and she has a huge passion for this. And we actually met her because we were interviewing her for an episode at the Monster House. We call it, it's nicknamed the Monster House in Baytown, Texas. And she had done some research on the place. And I asked her if she'd do an interview. She said, yeah. She clicked with our team. So she asked if she could be on, or vice versa. I asked her if she could be on. She said, yeah. And then our final member, our final sixth member, is me. Oh, I lied. We have a cameraman named Roman. And he just started. It's funny, that story. I probably sound really annoying because I keep talking a lot. But Roman, we actually met him on Craigslist. We put an ad out for a cameraman, and he answered. And the first time we met him, it was just like friends at first sight. It was insane. It was weird. We just clicked super well. We met him, became friends with him, and now he does our podcast with us, and we hang out with him probably once a week now. He's a really cool guy. And then the last guy is Sean Dargis. He is our ITC guy. He has been doing ghost boxing for a long time. So I've been friends with him for a while, and I finally asked him if he wanted to be on the team. So he's our sixth and final member.
Cool. Sounds like you got 6 is a pretty solid number.
Yeah, I think odd numbers are hard because, you know, when you split up in groups and stuff at these locations. So 6 is pretty good number.
Yep. That is a very good point. I've ran into that many times, as all teams probably have one time or another.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, JP. Well, it sounds like you got yourself right where you need to be as far as having a group to go out and do things and get stuff done. Why don't you tell the viewers a little bit about what you try to focus on in the paranormal field? What is your objective and goal as a paranormal investigator?
So when I first started Just Paranormal as a channel, and then started doing investigations and stuff as well, I started with the idea of trying to build paranormal unity. Because our original green screen show and stuff, we would showcase people's evidence that they caught, and we would ask the community, what do you think about the evidence? And, you know, and I started trying to talk to people and learn more about the field, because you can always learn. I've kind of started seeing that it's really hard to ignite paranormal unity, and it's not a lost cause, but it's getting really close to being that. I've ran into a lot of people doing this since I was 15 that are really just in it for themselves and really selfish people. You know, of course, the goal for me was to try to somehow turn this into a career. It's really tough, you know, like I feel like I used to play football. You know, you go to high school, you play high school football, you play college football, your goal is to get to the NFL. So I kind of feel like our NFL as paranormal investigators is getting a show. That way you can get paid to do what you love, and you don't have to pay to do what you love. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the ultimate goal. Besides, you know, of course, finding evidence and trying to prove the existence of the afterlife. And that's really tough too, because a lot of skeptics and stuff, they already have their mind made up. I mean, you can show them stuff that would blow their mind away, but sometimes they don't. Some people just always have an answer for everything. But you know, that's why I started was a paranormal unity thing. And then also, just like I said, just trying to have fun. You know, this is supposed to be a fun field as well as a serious field. That's why a lot of my videos are kind of goofy. But when I do my investigation videos, they're always serious. I take the investigating aspect very serious. But just bring some light and some energy to the field is what my main goal was.
Right. I enjoy your comedic. You know, you just act. You act yourself. Yeah. I appreciate that. You don't try to put on a different facade or try to act a little different. You just kind of chill out with your friends. But when it comes time to get serious, you try, you know, your best to do what you are doing. But I do think it's refreshing that, you know, you crack jokes and you just kind of loosen your necktie in your collar a little bit and just, you know, not take it quite so serious all the time. And I think that's cool.
Well, I
And
appreciate
what
that.
also yeah, you're welcome. And what I also think is cool is you try to actively do peer review and not just, you know, ghost stuff. You try to do UFO, cryptozoology stuff. Go into that a little bit. What type of things do you try to branch off and do, and what explain to the viewers what kind of peer review work you do on your YouTube channel?
Yeah, sure. So I really look at anything that you could just say is not normal. I don't just stick to, you know, ghosts and spiritual stuff like you said. I try to get into UFOs. I'm definitely not that knowledgeable on those things, but I do try to learn as much as I can and review those videos as well. I actually just went to a cemetery this last weekend by myself, and I'm not saying that it was a hellhound, but if hellhounds exist, this thing had to be a hellhound. I'm actually going back there tonight around 11 o'clock with Roman, my cameraman, to go out there and try to see if we can find some prints. What I saw was this thing had to be at least 4 foot tall on all fours in this cemetery. Mm-hmm. And we're going to go back out there tonight and check that out. We'll have a video up on the channel soon. But yeah, we just try to look at everything. It's hard. It's going to sound so like contradictory. But we try to look at everything skeptical, but also through a believer's eyes. I don't know how to explain, like, we try not to be too hardcore skeptical on things, because I know how frustrating it can be when you have something that you know for a fact is real. You know, you caught this and you're just like 100%, I know this is real. And then you're showing it to somebody and they're like, nah, that's not real. Well, that can be blah, blah, blah. And you're like, well, that ain't happened. Well, it could be blah, blah, blah. So I try to not be too skeptical, but then I try not to look like a fool and fall for everything. So when we do our reviews on our show, that's the kind of take we kind of go on it. Like, this could be real, but if it's not, it's probably be because of this. That's kind of the way we do things.
Yeah, I like to use the word being objective.
Yeah, that's a great word. That's a great word.
And I think that's the only way to be, if you want to look credible and, you know, actually approach what we're doing in a way that will actually get to truth or get to answers, because, you know, objective reality is always, you know, based off of, you know, history and science, the history of science. Science has brought us all the way to the point where we can talk to each other half a way across a continent and beam crap in and out of, you know, satellites and all this digital stuff that's happening. I mean, science has provided all that. And there's a lot of stuff that's been left in the dark ages that are still trying to cling on, you know, stuff like religious dogma and, you know, stuff that are like, you know, what should I call it? You know, superstitions and habits. When you apply science to anything and try to look at it objectively, you're actually trying to get to the bottom of something and not be clouded by, you know, bias and cognitive dissonance, which is cool. I love that you're doing that, and I support that 100%.
Thanks. Yeah, we try to do things, I guess, like in layman terms too. Some people, you know, like there's some channels that I see that are for like the public that doesn't understand really what we do and why we, you know, use certain devices and stuff. It seems like some people just try to make it way more complicated than it is, and I don't know why. So we try to look at, like, our investigations like are pretty simple, and people I try to make it to where people can understand actually what we're doing if they're not in the field too. So that's another aspect that we try to do.
Yeah, someone just mentioned Moonville Tunnel to me in the YouTube chat, and I have to say I'm going to be there for Midnight at Moonville at the 21st, so stop by our booth. A quick plug real quick, and I have a documentary and some crazy stuff happens there. But JP, back to you, buddy. Yeah. Do you want to go over some of this stuff that you want me to pull from YouTube first, or you want to talk about this exciting news that you got coming up before that?
We can end on the exciting news so people don't leave the show after. Give them a reason to stick around.
Oh, we done blow our load. Now we can leave and go eat some chocolate and smoke a cigarette. Okay. Fair enough. JP's gave me a couple videos that we're going to pull from his channel, and he's got them time marked. So I'm going to hide JP's face for a second. Much better, right?
Everybody's thanking you right now.
All right. We're going to look at, this is Old Palestine Memorial Hospital, which I'm assuming is in Texas.
Yes, it is. And unfortunately, or fortunately, we're the only team to ever get to investigate it. Unfortunately, they now condemned it.
Okay. So what we're going to do here, I want to make sure you're coming through. Okay, you have this marked at 13 minutes and 20 seconds. Do you want to give an intro to this, or just want me to let it roll?
Let it roll, and then I'll explain what was going on in that situation.
All right. You will not hear what I'm about to play. So
okay. I have it pulled up here so I can watch, and I'll let you know.
Okay. All right. Hit play now.
Okay, I'm not sure what part you're on because there's a quite significant
delay. You're reviewing
delay.
Where it says Shannon.
Okay. Did the full spectrum camera get shown yet?
It just now cut to that.
Okay.
So you want me to keep playing it?
No, it's just going to replay the EVP. If you want to play it, you can.
Okay, we'll let it play just for a few minutes so they can hear it. I'm sorry, you only hear and see this on the Facebook. I have not got this working on the YouTube end, so I apologize for that. All right. Well, you guys are legitimately happy about hearing that.
Yeah. Well, we were. Shannon wasn't.
All right. Well, you got something to come across the DR60 that sounds like Shannon. Yeah.
So right before that, we're at the other end of the hallway, and we hear a squeaking sound. It goes. We're like, what was that? And we walk down the hallway towards the sound, and we're thinking maybe it's a door, trying to figure out what the sound is. And there's this wheelchair sitting on the ground, tipped over, and we turn the wheel, and that's not the sound. And then I turn the actual full chair part, and it goes. So that was the chair that moved. Well, keep in mind, that could be explained away as it's settling or something. But we had already been in this hospital for hours, and we've been down that hallway several times, and that wheelchair never made one sound. People had been walking by that wheelchair. Every time somebody walked by it, we didn't hear that squeaking sound. That was the first time we ever heard that squeaking sound. So we're like, okay, maybe something's here right now. Let's pull out the recorder. We pull out the recorder, which the RDR60, I've caught a lot of things that I was kind of like, maybe it's the device. Maybe it's not an actual EVP. So I was still kind of on the fence on it. And then after I caught this EVP, I said, I am no longer on the fence about that recorder on most of the things it does now. Because that EVP was super clear. You can clearly hear that it says Shannon. Shannon is not a common name. Nobody's speaking during the session. It was absolutely incredible. And our investigator Shannon's holding the camera, and it says his name. It says it wants him. It doesn't get any better than that. That's one of my favorite EVPs we've ever caught. And to think that the recorder, I'm holding it in my hand, playing it back, and Shannon has the camera away from it. We're not even playing it straight into the camera. It's like, a couple feet away, and you can still hear it say Shannon super clearly. yeah, so that's what happened with that EVP. It was really, really cool.
All right, good stuff, man. You know, I have criticized the RDR60. I have investigated with people with the recorder, and there's a lot of times where it does, you know, have problems and issues, and there's other times that you hear stuff that are very, very interesting on it. So I would like to get my hands on the recorder. I don't think that I will, but I would love to teach people what I think is a proper way to use it without, you know, to limit the limitations and the you know, some of the false positives it may be causing. But you know, I totally don't throw out everything that I've heard on it. So
with that recorder, for anybody that is thinking about buying one or anything, here's a tip I learned with it. Real quick, I didn't spend the $1,000 for it or whatever. I got really lucky and I found one on what's that? It's like Let Go. I found one in Colorado. Somebody was selling one in Colorado, and luckily I had family that lived about an hour away from that person, and they were kind enough to go pick it up for me for $10. So that's why I got that recorder. One thing that I learned about it was whenever you're recording, and if the volume is turned up on the speaker, it actually makes a hissing sound while it's recording. You can hear it, like if you're holding it in your hand, or at least the one I have. I don't know if you've experienced this. You can hear a hissing sound, and my you know how it only works on voice activated in a voice activated setting. So it and mine, like when I first got it, before I realized this, it always was recording. It was never stopped, and I was like, what the heck? So finally, I learned turn the volume down before you start your session, then turn it on. You don't hear any sound, and then it goes into voice activation mode. I don't know if it's just mine that does that, and I can't complain because I bought it for $10. But when I turn the volume down and stuff, I pick up EVPs like that Shannon one.
Yeah, there's a lot of issues with it that I've read about. There's people that was sending it back, you know, 20 years ago when it first came out, saying that, you know, they were hearing stuff that wasn't supposed to be there. And I don't want to embellish on the things I read about it because I would like to have it to see for myself. Yeah. But there is issues from what I've seen on investigations. But also there's some stuff that is interesting to me, especially when stuff speak over investigators asking questions or talking. That is not there.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one, JP. We're going to go to the jail. This is my favorite piece of evidence of yours, by the way, the shadow figure.
Oh, appreciate it. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember me talking to you about that. I was like, dude, this is what you want to show people right here. So I hope I didn't spoil it. I hope I didn't spoil it. Sorry, YouTube, you can't see this, but we're going to let JP show you his capture at this jail that he was going to tell you more about here in a moment.
Okay, just let me know when it's done.
Okay. Man, that is really interesting. It's not what's interesting. I'm not going to talk. I'll give my input on it when it's done. Okay. I'm going to let it play it one more time, just so it doesn't play quite as long as I'd like it to.
Okay, sure.
All right, well, guys, there is the shadow figure. What I was going to say about it is, I've captured something very similar one time in a certain location, and what stands out to me is it doesn't look like it's something casted against the wall. It looks like it's free floating.
Yeah,
and it really doesn't have a definite shape. It looks almost exactly what I captured, and you can't say it's a shadow of somebody when it's morphing and changing and free floating.
Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like a human figure. It just, and you can, everybody laughs at me the way I say figure. I say figure. Anyways, it doesn't look like a human figure. It's just like a black mass. And like you said, you could tell it's not against a wall. It's like sitting in the center of the hallway. Another really interesting thing is the owner of my she's not the owner, but the property manager, Deborah, my really good friend, she saw a shadow there as well. And if you watch in the episode, we decided to highlight that story. And we're like, well, let's set up a camera here. And we caught the same thing. So in my head, it almost proves that it's possibly residual and not, or the likelihood of it being residual is more to me, because if she saw it there and then we capture it there, it just seems like maybe it's just stuck in a loop and it's playing itself there or something. Another fun behind the scene fact about that is when I was reviewing that evidence, I was sitting there and I was like, I had probably about another hour of footage to watch. And you know how that can be. And I was really on the edge of just saying, we're not going to catch anything. Let's just put it away. So you know what? I'm going to give it 10 more minutes. And I caught that. And I almost didn't catch that because it was just one of those moments, man. I was just tired of, my eyes were starting to burn. I was tired of watching the film. And I was like, ugh. And I was like, 10 more minutes. And I caught that. I was like, oh my God. So I finished the rest of the video after that. And now I would never think of that again, because that's just too good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something that I've seen that I like better than that on your channel, and I haven't yet. Most stuff you get is audio phenomena and voice phenomena. Yeah. But when you get something like that and you just cannot explain it easily, just based on the video. Now, of course, you were there, so the only thing you could kind of do is, do you smell smoke? No, I don't smell any smoke. Nothing's on fire. There shouldn't be any smoke flowing through this area, and smoke looks like white on IR anyway, not black. So
right. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Right.
It's definitely an interesting capture.
It is. When I seen that, I was just like, whoa. All right, we're going to go to the next one here real quick. Let me do 705. We're at... Okay, let me hit pause real quick. 705. We'll cue this up. Okay, I'll just let this one roll on Facebook. Sorry, YouTube. I plan on getting my full live show with showing people clips and all the graphics soon, but this is better than nothing, I guess, for you YouTube guys. So, we're how do you pronounce this, JP? Yoakum?
Yeah, Yoakum. You said it perfectly.
All right. And this isn't. Explain the location a little bit before we let this roll.
Sure. It's just a community hospital that's been abandoned since the 90s. Thousands of deaths before, and it was really interesting. Is before this investigation, my researcher gave me a big stack of people, and we found the most really traumatic deaths that we could find in there, and accidents, because we felt like accidental deaths could leave confused spirits, and maybe that's why they're still there. And I called the name out of every traumatic death that I could find, just trying, because a lot of people that go to these hospitals, they don't do the research like my researcher did. So this hospital's been investigated a lot, but these spirits aren't being called out by name. So I thought, hey, let's call them all out by name and see what that does. And that night was one of the best investigations I've ever done in my whole entire life. That you can watch that whole video, and there's amazing evidence on every couple minutes. It was insane.
Okay, I want to go ahead and show these guys this clip,
sure.
And we'll see what they think.
And you can call it when you think it's at a good stopping point.
Well, right now Daniel is tripping out. Thought that he had his walkie-talkie on.
Okay.
So right now there was metal or something that's metallic sounding being thrown off camera, right?
Yeah, yeah. And after that, you can stop it and I'll explain it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry for the YouTube community watching this. Is kind of like, this sucks right now. Okay, go ahead.
So what was going on there is, well, first off, Shaggy got scared about his walkie because earlier we had a strange thing happen with one of our walkies where something came through and said the name of our researcher, Karen, that was upstairs. So we were kind of all on edge when the walkies went off because we thought that maybe it was something weird again. So what happened was he decided to go. So the way this hospital is shaped is there's a room with the AC unit. That's where the teams usually take breaks and relax during the investigation. If you're standing in the doorway of the room, if you go left and you go straight down, there's the operating rooms. And then if you go to the right, there's the door to get out of the hospital. And it's a pretty long hallway. So I was like, well, you know what? It's break time. I'm going to go outside and get some air. Everybody was following me that way. Shaggy was like, well, I'm going to go investigate a little bit more, which I think he literally investigated for 12 hours that night nonstop. I really think he did. Absolutely insane. But he did it. I commend him. He went into the room and he decided to try to go do EVP session, I think. So he's in the operating room. Well, for some reason, I don't even know why, I just decided to start walking back towards the operating room. So I'm on my way back there, and everybody was going to take a break with me, but they kind of just followed me where I was going. So I'm just walking, and they're behind me. And I honestly have no idea why I started walking to the operating room. I was literally going to go outside and catch some fresh air. So I'm walking down the hallway, and then that's when the object gets thrown in the room next. Like, there's a group of us, and to the right, there's a room there, and that's where we hear the object get thrown. And then we all, Shaggy comes out of the room, and he's like, what was that? And we're like, we don't know who it was. Nobody did anything. We're just walking. So we all go in that room, and we actually find a piece of metal. And it's from you know how on padlocks they have the one that's on the hinges, and then the little piece that goes through the hinges and it turns, and then you put the padlock in? That piece, the one that turns, was just on the ground. We skipped it, and it made the same exact sound. And it was the only object in the room. The room was completely empty. We have no idea where that piece came from. We have no idea what happened. But something moved that object that wasn't one of us.
Did it look like it was freshly snapped off? Was there a place where it looked like it was supposed to be attached?
Yeah, it was kind of like bent. I have it. Let me grab it. It's right here next to me. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I think
he has it next to him. Next to all of his skulls, his human skulls.
The idea of having something that possibly a spirit touched or however it did it in my hands was absolutely amazing. So I decided to keep it. But that's where it is. And that's the piece that was broken.
It does look broke.
Yeah, and there was no padlock in there. That's what's really confusing about it. It literally came out of nowhere. I have no idea where it came from, but it's pretty heavy. Like it'd be like $2 worth of quarters, almost heavy, maybe a little less, maybe $1.50. But yeah, it's really, really strange, and just like something about holding this, knowing that possibly a spirit used the energy to move it or something, is just really fascinating to me. So that's why I decided to keep it as a memento.
I totally understand. That's pretty cool. Well, there's the 3 video clips. I hope you guys enjoyed them. I know sometimes you wish that you captured something right in frame, but that seems like a time that, you weren't the camera wasn't pointing at the direction and happened randomly, but you did capture the sound of it, and it was pretty clear that it sounded like something hard was being thrown.
Yeah, and that's like what you said. It was off camera, and I feel like our subscribers that have been with us for a while, hopefully they trust us and they know that we were all walking there in that hallway, and none of us, everybody had an eye on somebody because everybody was single file. So I was in front of somebody, they could see me, and it goes down the line, and the last person could be seen by Shaggy. So everybody was seen, and I don't have people on my team that would do something like that. Or at least I hope that's why they're on my team, So right. I'm 100% positive that it was something paranormal in the sense of I don't know how to explain it.
Right. Anybody that can read people's body language could tell that you guys didn't fake that. Yeah. I want to give a quick shout out to Shaggy from Paraholics, and I even seen Paranormal Tyler in there. So I'll give them a quick plug. If you could go over to Paranormal Tyler and check out the Paraholics YouTube channel. Tell them Justin Brown sent you. But hopefully I can get some cross promotion there. But those are pretty cool clips, man. I think they're pretty solid. I definitely like the shadow figure one. Why don't you tell people about, we'll wrap the show up real quick. Tell people what's coming up with you right now. The biggest news you got. Let's lay it on them.
So I'm super excited to announce that if you've been following my channel, or if you're new to me, I filmed something called Paranormal Isolation, where basically I went into a haunted jail for a week completely alone, and no camera crew, nobody was with me. I filmed everything by myself. Basically, Survivor Man meets paranormal. I filmed the pilot episode. I filmed the sizzle, shopped it around, trying to get on TV. And I finally got picked up by International TV Network. It's a step. It's in the right direction. They picked it up, and we start filming in November. I got to film 6 episodes for them. Super excited, super stressed out at the same time because I know that this is a big break, and it could lead to great possibilities. So that's the news. So Paranormal Isolation will be an official TV show. Hopefully soon it'll be in the States.
Can you say what international TV network it is? Can you say which one?
Yeah, so the distribution company is called Launch 360, and they have my show's going to first. They want to start it in the Caribbean. So first of all, we have to figure out what's going on in the Caribbean because the hurricane kind of messed up a lot of things. But they want to start it there because they are really interested in spiritual stuff down there in the paranormal. They love that stuff. So they want to start it down there, see how it goes. And then they have 35 affiliates and other networks that air in Canada, Australia, European countries. And I want to say Northeast United States as well. And since they're all affiliated together, it's possible that they can see the show and say, hey, that's a pretty cool show. Let's get it on our network over here. Let's get it shown to these people. So that's the goal. So it has the potential to be reached to about, I think, 70 million viewers with all the networks and affiliates combined. So I'm hoping that that's what happens. It's kind of starts a chain reaction from going from the Caribbean to other places. And then my producer, after we figure out from there, she's going to shop it around in the States and see if we can get it picked up here somewhere.
Cool, man. Good luck with that. I hope that it does, yield something good for you, because I know how hard we work and we try to get something going. I think that you would be a pretty good, refreshing, entertainment-wise, you would do a good show, I think, that might be not a cookie-cutter show that we're used to seeing. A lot of them. Yeah, a lot of shows don't, air for too many times, and, the Ghost Adventures crew or the Ghost Hunters show, you can only do that once or twice without, people asking for different things. So do you got something I know you had the isolation thing that you're going to carry over in the show. I seen your first isolation when I first started following you. I seen the first jail isolation stuff. I love that. I thought, that's perfect for people, to see that kind of what the psychological impact of being in that situation is and the entertainment value of it. Plus, you know, you don't have so much contamination with people walking around talking and all that stuff too.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Yeah. So like you said, the isolation part is coming in. I know a thing that you're really going to like a lot is to know that I decided to, instead of getting funding from the network, I decided to do the self-producing route and own the show. So that way nothing can be changed, nothing can be staged, nothing can be faked. Everything you see is completely creative freedom on my part. So
that's bold, man.
Yeah, so I invested in myself, and I decided to go that route. So everything you see is going to be filmed by me, filmed by my crew, and you know, so basically I'm going to have my cameraman with me. John's going to be my audio visual tech, in the sense he's going to come back after the investigations and go through the evidence with me and help me out reviewing that stuff. That way we can be there real time. The time length is going to be shortened because since I've done the first episode, I've had a baby, and she's a year old now, and I don't like the idea of being away from her for a full week. So the show's going to be 2 nights of investigations now. So I'm going to be there for 2 nights completely alone. So that is one aspect that changed, but everything else is the same. And I love that they gave me the option. They said, we can fund it, but it's our show. We can do what we want with it. Which route do you want to take? And I said, I'll fund it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, man. I applaud you for taking that risk, and I'll support you, man. I'll do whatever I can to, you know, promote the stuff that once you get it all filmed and all up there, I'll do what I can on my end. And good luck with that, man. That sounds like it's really exciting and scary, like you said, at the same time.
Yeah, it's very, very intimidating. There's being alone when you're truly alone and you don't have somebody that you can call on the walkie, or you know that nobody's watching you from a DVR camera. It's intimidating. And you know Matt Benton, of course, you're really good friends with him, and you know that he did the same thing with Man vs. Paranormal, and he can tell you too, it does something to you. It's strange. It's really, really odd. When I got home from that, it took me, felt like 2 or 3 weeks to feel normal again. I felt like I was like in a car accident or something. It was strange.
Yeah, he's wanting me to go up and help him shoot the House of Wills portion of his film, and I've already helped him shoot a lot of stuff on Man vs. Paranormal, and that's another guy I'd like to see do something cool. And you know, we all need all the luck we can get in this competitive world of entertainment. But
you're always filming documentaries. I say you, me, and Matt, we should team up on a documentary between mine and his filming experience and you know, the know-how on how to do it on that end, and then just your smarts when it comes to everything in paranormal and all this stuff. You know, I feel like we could create a really cool documentary. We should do something one day.
Yeah, I'm down for collabs all around, man. Sounds good. Let's wrap this up, JP. We're 3 minutes away from the hour mark. Let everybody know who may be watching right now, how they can check out your YouTube channel, how they can find you on social media.
All right, so if you want to check us out on YouTube, search for us. Just look up Just Paranormal, like the word just too. I didn't think about that when I was naming it, but I say Just Paranormal, and they're like, just the word paranormal. No, 2 words, Just Paranormal. So if you just search that up, we should pop up on the first thing. Look for us on, we have a podcast too called the Just Paranormal Podcast. Look for us on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, anywhere you get your podcast, we should be there. So go search for us on that. That's a lot of fun. Facebook, just look up Just Paranormal, just like you did with YouTube, and we should be the first ones to pop up.
I put the YouTube link in the Facebook live portion. Everybody on YouTube that you're watching, just go to Just Paranormal on YouTube. It'll pop right up. And support this guy. He is trying his damnedest to make it in this very difficult field we call the paranormal field. I wish the best of luck to you, JP. I know that it's hard to juggle being a brand new dad and, you know, doing that part of it and managing this whole business that you're trying to do on that end. It's basically yourself employing yourself along with, I'm sure you probably work too.
Oh, yeah.
On top of all this. So it's extremely difficult. And I just want people to realize that, that you are working very hard, and go over there to his channel, support him, subscribe to JP's channel. That's the least you can do, I'd say, because he puts a lot on there. He updates and posts videos every week. And just do everything you can to support everybody that I have on this show. And we'll get around to progression in the paranormal field if everybody tries to pull together and do that. So that's the premise of this show is, hey, look, we're trying to pull together. Let's see what we can do as a paranormal community to make it happen.
Yep, I couldn't agree with you more, man.
All right, JP. Well, I'll let you go, buddy. Thanks again for coming on the show. You have a good day and best of luck. Send me everything my way. Keep me updated, and I'll promote all your stuff on my side, brother.
Cool. Appreciate it. Same goes for you, man.
All right. You have a good evening, and I'll see you later.
All right. You too.
All right, folks. Well, there you have it. JP Doyal of Just Paranormal. Check out his YouTube. He's got a paranormal isolation show that he just talked about that's coming up. Check him out there. He's on Facebook and Twitter and all those places. Just go check him out. He's very easy to find on social media. So I want to thank everybody again for joining me again this week. Next week, we're going to look and see what we have. Oh, we have John Huntington and joining us next week. So make sure you tune in next Wednesday at 9 p.m. EST on Necromancer Live Show, and we'll be doing it on YouTube as well. John Huntington is a really cool guy. He does a lot of ITC and Spirit Box stuff, so we'll be talking to him in length about that. You guys are all in my thoughts. I hope you have a good night, and stick around if you want to see how you can support my paranormal work and see some other promotional stuff here on my end. Until then, I'll see you on the next show. All right, JP, we are in the promo end on Facebook. We're still live on YouTube. Thanks, buddy. I'll talk to you later. You know where to find me if you need me, all right?
Cool, man. Appreciate you.
All right, you too, buddy. You have a good one.
You too.
All right. Thanks, YouTube. We're signing off. Come join us next week at 9 p.m. EST. We'll see you.